What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast, the OVACAST, if you will. It has been since like almost a year, over a year and 8 months since the last time we uploaded a podcast for you guys. And now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing some podcasts on my own, some podcasts with Nick. And in this first podcast, I just kind of wanted to update you guys on what's been going on in our lives since I haven't uploaded anything to this channel in over a year. Crazy. Um I just I don't know. I've been away. I've been trying to get things going with my business, get my life in order, but you just realize that it's never going to be in order. Like, there's always going to be something. So, why not just come back and do the podcast and talk about whatever I want? What you have to look forward to as far as what I will be talking about, different pet peeves and things like that, venting sessions and stuff. Maybe we will agree on some things, maybe we will disagree on other things, and that's okay. I don't know that I will be bringing vlogs back at any point. I think that I'm probably just going to be doing podcasts for the time being. I also have another channel that I have been dedicating one video a week to for a few months now, and that is a hobby channel that I am currently interested in. I've been doing the same hobby for over like almost a year. It'll be a year at the end of the month, and I have a channel dedicated to that, but I wanted to try and keep that separate from this as much as I could. But like I said, I'm going to be updating you guys on all sorts of things in the podcast. We're going to be talking about all kinds of different um current events or whatever. So, what I wanted to do first is I wanted to update you guys on what's been going on with me in my life and let you guys know what's happening. So essentially, what is going on is after 10 years together, this year in February, we hit our 10-year anniversary. Nick and I are officially getting married next month. So at the end of next month, we will be getting married. Oh, not next month, October. At the end of October, we're going to be getting married. I am so excited. Nick is so excited. We definitely have been talking about it for a really long time, like since very early in our relationship. But I had other things I had to go through. I had past relationships I had to deal with, both emotionally and legally. And we have come to the point now where we can get married, and we will be getting married at the end, like I said, at the end of October of this year. We will officially be married. I've been calling him my husband for years, but it's going to be like he's going to be my real husband, my legal husband. It's very exciting. Um and I have also been dealing with a lot of medical stuff. I'm still dealing with my diabetes, although I just went to the doctor yesterday and he basically said that my A1C is now a 7, which for somebody whose A1C used to be a 10, that's pretty good. He said if I can get down into the 6s, then we will be discussing getting me off of my insulin. So I'm excited about that. And my blood pressure was perfect this time I went to the doctor, so that was really exciting too. So, everything's going really well at this point. And I also was put on an SSRI, which I think has really helped as far as me um being able to keep hobbies, being able to keep things going, being able to keep interest in things. I think the SSRIs really, really helped with that. And it's been really life changing. Like, I've had things happen to me in the last few months that I'm just like, if I had not been on this SSRI, I would have freaked out. But because I am on the SSRI and I am taking care of myself and I am trying, I didn't freak out. Like, the way I handled it was like so, in my opinion, like so level headed and normal and things like that. One of the things that happened that would have usually thrown me over the edge was I was at the post office dropping some things off, some shipments off, and I went to open my door. And I don't know if you've ever been to Arizona, but it's very windy here. It can get very windy very, very suddenly. Um, if you don't like the weather in Arizona, give it an hour, unless it's heat. If it's heat that you don't like, then you're kind of in the wrong place. But um, it got very windy and it was out of nowhere. I opened my car door and I was parked next to a pole, and the wind caught my door and slammed my door into a pole and dented it. Now, it wasn't a big dent, it wasn't anything crazy, but it is my brand new, at the time, 2024 Kia Forte. So, like, I was kind of upset about it. I haven't paid this car off, obviously. So, I usually, it would have been like crying, yelling, upset, take it out on everybody else. But when it happened, I was just kind of like, yeah, that happened. Like, what can I do about it? Nothing. And you just kind of like move on. Very calm about it. Very like matter of fact. And I thought in that moment, I'm self-aware enough that in that moment I was like, this would have usually thrown me over the edge, but my reaction was so like calm that I was like, this medication is working. Um, and I believe I'm on like the lowest possible dose. So I am really happy with that. I'm really happy with it, and I'm really excited to see how much better I can get. Now, it doesn't necessarily make it so like nothing affects me, which was another thing that I was kind of concerned about. And I told the doctor, I was like, my one concern with being on this SSRI is that I don't want to lose my personality. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm like totally medicated. I don't have my sense of humor anymore or whatever. And I definitely don't think that that's the case. Like, I just feel like it has brought out the better parts of my personality and kind of like quieted down like the voices of the more negative parts of my personality. Like, I'm not as anxious about things. If something happens, I'm not getting like upset about it, especially with like work and things, because when you work for yourself, you do depend on yourself. Like, I'm it. Like, if I'm not making money, it's because I'm not doing something right. If I'm not, um, if I'm not listing items every single day, it's because I'm not doing it. Like, I'm the only one to blame, really. If shipments got late, it's because I didn't send them out on time. Like I said, I'm the only one that I can really blame. And yeah, Nick helps me, but like he helps me at my own encouragement of like, hey, can you do this for me? Or I'll send something to him because I like to keep a running list of the things like I need to get out of my storage unit, or I need to get this or that. Not out of my storage unit, but I need to get something out of my storage, or I need to get something out of inventory to ship it. And I'll send it to him because then I have like this running list, right? And 9 times out of 10, he'll go out and get it for me, especially in the summer because I take medications that are very, very um, heat sensitive, and I live in Arizona. So he will go out and get things for me occasionally. But 9 times out of 10, if something goes wrong with my business, it's because I did something wrong. And I feel like before, if I would get like a negative feedback, or I would get really anxious about it, like to the point where I would have maybe like a panic attack, like my arms were hurting, I couldn't take a deep breath, things like that. Now I feel like with this SSRI, I'm not having these problems. I'm not having the panic attacks. I'm not having, like, it just makes my life a lot more fun to enjoy. I've also noticed that my acute health anxiety has diminished almost completely. I don't worry about things as much, and when I'm not worrying about them, it doesn't affect me as much. It doesn't make me sicker. Like sometimes I would make myself so sick just being worried about being sick that I couldn't read certain books if they mentioned certain medical things, and then and if they did, then it would make me spiral. Now, I do think a big part of that is just protecting your peace, and like, obviously, I will look up certain trigger warnings for books or media that I'm going to be consuming, because if certain things are happening, it's not so much that it triggers me, it's just I don't want to hear about it. And I found that maybe I'm a little bit less sensitive with people too. I found that if somebody's telling, I can be a lot more open-minded and like listen to people's problems without comparing, like, well, you have this problem, but what about me having this? You know what I mean? It just made me a lot more pleasant, I feel like, without me actually losing my personality or what makes me me. It's made me a lot more pleasant. Now, I do think some of what has helped me is having these hobbies that I have been so passionate about and so invested in. And I will do another podcast about that at some point. Because I do have some pet peeve things that I would like to discuss. I'm keeping a running list in my phone of, like, you know, certain topics I would like to do a podcast on. And then I'm also going to be doing, like I said, podcast with Nick as well. But we have just been really trying to enjoy life. Like, trying to enjoy our days off, trying to just be together. I'm trying more now that I feel more balanced, trying more to like protect my peace. Like, if I don't want to do something, I'm trying to be nice to myself and be like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I am really into reading, but if there's a point where I don't want to read, I'm not reading. Like, there's no reason for me to have to read constantly. And just because I'm not reading a book or I don't have my nose in a book constantly doesn't make me not a reader. And I think that that's another thing that's really toxic about, like, social media, which I love, but social media and things like that is, I feel like there's a lot of people that make you feel like, well, if you're not doing this all the time, then you're not this thing. Like, you don't like it enough. Like, if you're not posting your collectibles all the time, then you're not a collector. If you're not reading all the time, then you're not a reader. If you're not gaming all the time, then you're not a gamer. If you're not diamond painting all the time, then you're not a diamond painter. Like, if you enjoy it and you do it when you have the spoons to do it, then yeah, you are a reader or a diamond painter or a collector or whatever. Because I go through a lot of different hobbies. I used to cycle hobbies like rapidly, but I'm not cycling them as rapidly anymore because I really do think it's because of that new medication. But like, I'm really into right now is like dolls. Have started collecting dolls, and I've been collecting dolls for over a year. And I'm really into diamond painting, reading, squishies. I know I'm 41 years old, but the squishies help me. I'm squishing one right now just so that I can focus on trying to talk, trying to get this podcast up to the, at least 20-minute mark, hopefully, and stuff like that. And I just feel it's really hard to talk by yourself on these that's why I'm thinking I'm probably gonna have Nick come and do a few with me, just because I feel like it would be easier to break it up. But my dog just snored. Sorry. But yeah, so I have a lot of these things, right? And I feel like people are like, well, you can't be a doll collector if you collect this kind of doll because this is why. Or you can't like squishies if you only have two, which I think I only have, I think I have four. I have 3 dumplings and a butter squishy, but you know what I mean? Like, and then there's also people that are like, well, you're 41 years old. You shouldn't be collecting toys. And you should, but I feel like that is such an old, like, mindset. I feel like that mindset is so old and so weird to me because my mom is in her 70s and she will literally be right beside me, like, you should get a mystery squishy. You should get a Fuggler squishy. You should get a mystery. She loves mystery boxes, Disney mystery boxes, Doorables, all kinds of things. She also loves the dolls. She likes Barbies, and she just started collecting like the little Disney Dorbs, like little dolls. Like, she loves dolls, and she has a Jenny doll, and she loves Chatty Cathy, so she has a Chatty Cathy doll. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's such an old mindset to be like, well, if you're over a certain age, you shouldn't be buying toys or whatever. Which is fine if that's your feeling on it. Like, you personally don't want to collect dolls or toys or whatever, but couldn't be me. You know what I mean? Just could not be me. So, that's just where I'm at right now as far as, and I just want this podcast to be like my, like, sounding board. I don't know how many times a week I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it just twice a month or what. I will figure that out once I get more topics in. If you guys have any suggestions for topics, I would love to hear them. Once I get more topics, once I get a list accumulated of things that I can do a podcast on. And I think another really important thing for me is to do them when I have the ability to do them, when I have the mindset, and when I have the like I said, the spoons to be able to just sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to talk for half an hour or 20 minutes. This is probably going to be a 20-minute podcast. But, like, okay, I have the spoons today to sit down and do this and feel like I have my thoughts together. And I just really would like it to be like a really, like, honest podcast where I can just come on here and be like, okay, this is what's going on today. And if you are coming to this place just to hang out, maybe you have it on while you're cleaning, maybe you have it on while you're doing your mom things or your dad things, or you're just here because of my past videos, or you're here because of the reaction era, which was like 3 or 4 years ago now. There will be something for everybody. I do plan on speaking on certain I do plan on, if something happens, coming on and talking about it. If something big happens, I want to come on and we're going to talk about it. And yeah, I just want to be genuine. No AI, no generative anything. Just me sitting here talking honestly about what's going on in my life, what's going on in the world, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and all of that. Because in life, life is finite, right? So we all know that eventually it's going to end. And I just want to be able to put my 2 cents into the world, and be able to let people know how I feel about things without, and just not be censored and not be acting a certain way because I think that that's what people want from me or want to see from me. So I'm just going to basically be 100% honest. Like, if I don't want to talk about it, I'm not talking about it, but I'm not going to lie about it either. But anyway, like I said, if you guys have any suggestions for topics you'd like to hear me talk about or anything like that, please let me know in the comments. Um, The picture will be changing. This is a picture of me and Nick from probably 2 or 3 Halloweens ago. So, I'm gonna put up a different picture and all that. But thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you guys in the next podcast. Well, you guys will hear me in the next podcast. Bye, guys.